it's very beautiful because I see that, and parents always come back to me, their kids are really wise. And it's not what I'm necessarily teaching, it's what I'm allowing them to be. And that's the key, because these children coming in, the indigos, the crystals, just allow them to be who they are and comfortable with who they are. And that is a beautiful gift to give them. And we do a lot of charity work, my family, and what I've really grown to do this year was not to make it all about my children, what my children can do. I brought it to my CCD class. I brought it to the public school with food drives, I do a lot for Elijah's Promise in New Brunswick. We did 500 placemats for the homeless at the soup kitchen for the Christmas holidays. I have the children preparing bagged lunches for kids and for families that may be underemployed, so they can't really afford all the food, so they need to pick up lunches. And these kids now are rolling up their sleeves and doing things. And if you look around, there are so many young people, even college young people, that are just so conscious of caring and doing things. So mine is more dealing with the younger people and trying to just raise these spiritually conscious children so that they can be the lights, in their own families and for everyone they come into contact with.
Thank you. Michael Jackson is or was an indigo forerunner. Does everybody know what an indigo is here? No. Do you know what ADD and ADHD is? An indigo child will be very sensitive. Their minds will race. It's one thought after another after another. They carry a very huge aura. They will have the ability to see what's going to happen in 10 years before it happens. They have the universal laws written within their hearts. They know not to judge people. They know not to bully people. But their hearts can be broken very easily. And what happens when that comes about? The wall comes up. Well, I'm not understood, so why should I speak? They become loners. They feel worthless. They don't want to get out there and do anything. They stay in their room. Do you know that suicide rate is the highest it's ever been? The kids who are leaving high school and dropping out, highest rate it's ever been, because they can't go to school and handle the frequencies, the energy that is being brought there by adults, other people. My son was diagnosed at 10 years old, and I noticed after giving him Adderall, he stopped eating and he stopped sleeping. I looked up some research and I found out this is a class 2 narcotic. I met a 21-year-old who was on it for 10 years. He was addicted to this. He could not stop taking it. He was starting to shake, and as if crawling things were going all over his body. We don't need to drug our children. We need to love our children. We need to listen to our children. With my son, I decided to take him off the medication. And I would bring him in my room, and I would allow him to speak out his day. What happened today? Did you get into any trouble? Did anybody upset you? And we would talk for about an hour, and I would allow him to go to bed free, because it's clear, it's gone, it's out of the field. 2 years later, we're talking, and his father comes into the room, and he stops, looks at me, looks at the father, and said, "Dad, you have to leave." My husband goes, "Why?" He goes, "Because it's mommy and me spiritual time." A title he put out himself. Today, my son is 20 years old. There's no fighting in my house. He still kisses me and tells me he loves me, and he does not care who is there. He is trustworthy, and most of all, he is happy. He's not on the streets. He's not doing drugs. He could trust me enough to know that if he needs, just for an example, he just turned 20 years old. He comes in, "Mom, I'm going to ask you something." It's okay. "Is it okay if Daddy gets me a 6-pack of beer just for my birthday?" Now, how many many kids do you think would do that? And I said, yes, as long as you're home and you're not driving, that is fine. I put crystals out throughout my house. Crystals carry a very powerful vibration. They feel this vibration. 3 days later, comes up, Mom, what did you do in the house? And I didn't put the two together at first. And I said, nothing, why? It feels so good in here. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to go to school. We can have beautiful kids, and you know, some of the kids I meet have these walls and are so angry and are so hurt. Michael was judged and ridiculed from a young age by his father, who told him he had a big nose, to the paparazzi of today. This man was an angel, and through his words, he helped millions. He was in bankruptcy because he was giving all his money away to charities. When he went to India to do a concert, he didn't go to the hotel. He went to the orphanage. What do you need? Do you need beds? Do you need sheets? Within 24 hours, that orphanage had new beds and sheets. You're going to tell me that was not an angel? He gave all of his proceeds and royalties to help others. So I just hope I can, a little bit in my own way, follow his footsteps and see his dream come true. Because in one of his speakings, he did mention, we only have 3 years left. And we do. 2012 is right around the corner. And we have to raise not only our personal vibration, but the planet's vibration. This is why the indigos are here. This is why the crystals are here. So we will have questions if you have any other. I'd like to now give the floor to Holly.
Hi. In January 2009, I was diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. And when you're given that diagnosis, your whole world spins out of control. You just don't even know where to turn, what's going on in your life. I was advised by many doctors that I needed a double mastectomy, which I did go and have. It was a grueling surgery that I went through. It was 10 hours. And during that time of coming home with 8 drains all over my body, my back was cut open, my front was cut open. I sat in my chair. I didn't know whether I would ever function in the world again. I spiraled down into such a depression. And the only thing I had left to hold on to, my one little thread of hope, was relying on God to just get me through the night, because I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep in a bed. I couldn't lay down. I sat in the chair. It's to get me through, to see the morning's light. And I would just pray and pray and pray. And I realized in that point of my darkness that this was a spiritual awakening for me, that I was on a spiritual path many, many, many years ago, and I was halted by my husband. And throughout the course of those years, I had other illnesses occur, but I never took the time to say, why is this happening to me? It took having breast cancer and going through the surgeries to realize that this was putting me back on my spiritual path. And through that, I did major self-analysis, and I had the most wonderful doctor, Dr. Alyssa Santoro in Livingston. And she was telling me, Holly, the only way to heal yourself is you have to heal on all 3 levels of your being. You have to heal physically, you have to heal mentally and emotionally, and you also have to heal spiritually. If you do not heal on all 3 levels, you will not be healed. And I listened to that, and I realized she was right. I really needed to focus on healing all levels of my being. So I realized having the surgery cut the cancer out of my body, and I had to go through many months of physical therapy just to be able to lift my arms up over my head again. And I wound up getting probably probably 6 months after my surgery, I got a personal trainer and started working with her just to build my physical body back up again. I also started going to a psychologist and looking deep within myself why I got cancer. Where did all this stem from? And like Lisa kept saying, it is anger eating away at the self. And I realized in my therapy, cancer is suppressed anger eating away at the self. And I had to get to the root of what that anger was. And a lot of it was from childhood and in my adult life. And I worked with this therapist for 8 months and really delved into all the things that were eating away at myself.